Today we finish the last, not last actually, because we do have to go back to Hold Bastion, never mind. I was going to say today we finished the last couple of worlds before ending the game, but we talked about that at the end of last episode. So we've got Halloween Town here, and we've got Agrabah here. Agrabah technically is a little bit of a lower battle level, though it has a lot more things happening in it, and also a lot more things that can potentially break. So this will be a very interesting thing for us to do. We do want Donald on the team, even though we have Cure. He also has Cure, which means that we don't have to use Cure as much. Welcome back, everybody, to the Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Randomizer run. I am kind of surprised by the fact that there is a legitimate chance. This is also an absent silhouette. That's a thing. Yeah, so I guess we're jumping immediately into that. Actually, we are not. We're going to make a save first, and then we're going to go into that. So that'll be interesting. How does this work with it? There is no timer. There was a number up on screen. It's just off screen, I think. I think it is counting down. Maybe Maybe it's not. I don't know. This might just work. I'm gonna keep doing this for like a hot minute. Because it might actually allow me to defeat Damix here and have a randomized boss fight. Obviously, there's a very high likelihood that we'll have to end up facing a different boss fight here, which is fine, I suppose. Yeah, we will. Okay, that was a short one. It's Roxas. This should be possible. Easy? No. Possible? Definitely. Oh, I am very interested as to how the data thing usually does have a number next to it, which probably shares a similar like way to store I don't have block. Or actually I've got Reflega, I think already. Reflega maybe? Yeah, Roxas is actually not going to be that much of an issue, it seems like. This is supposed to be a fairly difficult boss, and so far it's not really being that difficult. Unless he goes out of bounds. Is literally what I was about to say. But I think I might just be able to... Yeah. I don't even need to go out of reach because he's falling through the world. Well, that was fun. While it lasted. Which wasn't very long. At all. I'm going to try that one more time. I think we can do that. I'm going to try that one more time. Actually, we literally cannot do that because I'm not going to do it one more time. He always goes into that move at a certain amount of HP, his desperation move there. And he's always going to teleport out of my reach, and there's no collision on the floor over there, apparently. So, next one? Oh, that's not good. That is really bad for me. Yeah, there's no way in hell. I said there's no way, there's no reason for us to not fight a particular boss as long as it's not literally impossible at this point. Lingering Will is the only exception to that. And also Lingering Will is an exception to that because, oh my god! Because of the size of the arena. I'm going to give it a couple of tries just to show you, but eventually he too will go out of bounds because he's used to having an insanely larger arena. I think the arena you fight Lingering Will in is about as large as the one you fight the Ground Shaker in, even though Lingering Will is nowhere near the size of the Ground Shaker. Which means, yeah, and he's probably going to go out of bounds. I can't go through the wall, so maybe he won't go out of bounds, actually. Which means this is technically possible, which means that I've got no good reason not to fight him. And I'm still not going to fight him, don't get me wrong. I'm not an idiot. Maybe I'll keep this as like the actual final boss of the series, fighting Lingering Will in here, but I'm probably just gonna go and load the safe one. The safe randomization, that is, because this is literally impossible. I also don't have guard equipped still. Usually, I am of the opinion that you don't really need God all that badly, because you have Reflect, and Reflect is just a strictly better version of God. But for certain boss fights, maybe God isn't a bad idea. Also, I've been playing a lot more Kingdom Hearts 3, so I'm way more used to guarding than I am to using Reflect, because obviously that game... no! Please let me hear the fuck. Because Reflect isn't a thing in that game. I'm going to load the last patch. It's... actually... vaccine? That does not seem right at all. What's going on here? That shouldn't be happening. I loaded the safe randomization, right? I didn't load the clean ISO. I'm fairly certain this is going way too well for me. Yeah, I'm fairly certain I loaded the safe one, which is one that takes into account that your like your RAM usage doesn't get overloaded and stuff like that. So why does it load in? Maybe I just misclicked. Maybe I just misclicked. I've had this happen like once or twice before, right? Where something got randomized into the fight that it was supposed to be anyway. So maybe that's what happened, but the likelihood of that, I think this is the third time that would have happened so far. The likelihood of that happening 3 times within one game playthrough, even if you're using 4 different patches, is like close to 0. That being said, even without like Wisdom Form, because Wisdom Form makes this fight even easier, or Final Form for that matter, I'm doing fairly well here. The data version of this fight is significantly more difficult, of course, but this is not the data version, luckily. So I'm going to just beat this fight, and then I'm going to check if this is a randomized patch, because if it is, I'm going to count that as being totally fair game for me. He's going to go into his DM any moment now, though, I think. I don't like Anti-Sora. I actually quite like the idea of Anti-Sora in this fight. It's just, he's annoying. He's so well made. He does his job a little too well for me because I can't get to fucking vaccine. I don't want to be fucking vaccine, don't get me wrong. Can I just, like, do that? No, I cannot. But I can... Never mind, I'll just try to finish a combo on him. Maybe I can do this? No, I cannot. Why do you not let me use fire on you suddenly? Okay, the second half of this fight is not going as well for me as holy crap, you're dealing a lot of damage. I've got Cure, that's so good for me. Yeah, the second half of this fight isn't going nearly as well as the first half, so I might still just like lose this. I might also resort to just panicking into a dry form, even though I know it'll probably crash the game. My combos are so goddamn long I can't finish one on Vaccine, which is a real fucking issue. We are not doing the Pride Lands today, by the way. We're already like 15 minutes into this recording, which is probably like 10 minutes into this video, and we've not even done anything in Agrabah itself yet. Which is probably mostly because I keep talking, even though there's nothing happening on screen. Thank you. Okay, so you have to be fucking kidding me. Okay, it's time for your DM, which is fine, because I can just avoid that without too much trouble. Your DM is not that bad. Until it is. Which is now. Oh, I can just reflect away the shield. That is such a better idea. Why didn't I think about that before? Yeah, probably should have done... Okay, that is just not fair. How quickly you are, like, reloading your shield there, that's bullshit. I'm still gonna win this fight, though. I am 22.3% sure. You might be asking, why just 22.3%? That doesn't seem very high. Just so that I don't get disappointed when I inevitably do die. That's pretty much why. And I don't have... Okay, reflect. Gotta reflect. Gotta damage you with reflect. Reflect is literally the best move any Kingdom Hearts game. Oh my god, that's not good. has ever introduced. And Anti-Sora is back. Because of course he is. Fire element and form boost. There we go. That's definitely not what you usually get from this fight. So that pretty much answers my question. Yes, this was randomized. But it wasn't. But the patch... And we got an Agrabah map. That is actually very fitting for where we are right now. So, I guess let's keep going with this patch. For the time being. The game crashed. After that, and I did not save. So I guess we might be doing the Lingering Will version of that fight eventually, if we feel like it at the very end of the series anyway. We probably won't. But there is an option for us to do that. Which we'll ignore, likely. But the option is there. We probably forget before we ignore it, to be honest. Yeah, so I'm just kind of ignoring most enemies because I want to get on with my life and finish this recording without, like, having to spend 2 hours on it. Because we're already, again, about 20 minutes into the recording. I'm aware that we're under 15 minutes into the video, but I've got shit to do. So, there you go. I do wonder if the enemies here are going to get replaced as well, because that might be problematic. Especially if Jafar gets replaced, which I doubt, but he could. Also, how do I go down again? Oh, the camera analog stick. That makes a certain amount of sense. Okay, I'm gonna just look around here for a moment, but it seems like I don't have a Jafar. Which is, again, an issue. Oh, no, there he is. I've got a Jafar. Never mind. I'm just blind. Yeah. So, these are normal enemies, which I guess actually, I can just fight them on the ground while I'm on the carpet. That's not really an issue, I just realized. Though, I can't really use the reaction commands. Because this happens. Oh my. Okay, we're in a perpetual state of falling. And I don't think that's going to... Oh, that's going to be an issue because I can't raise up anymore either. Oh, and I can't block. I can't really do anything. This might screw us really badly. It didn't yet, but what now? Because we can't go back up. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to reload this. And don't use reaction commands. Because... So, for some strange reason, the other randomized patch started crashing. While it didn't before. Which makes no sense. So, we're using a different patch now, which means different enemies. Which means these enemies don't actually even give me the chance to reaction command. Which is gonna really save me. That is right now this second though, because there's going to be more enemies, and they're going to be problematic eventually. I just know they are, because they always are. Right? It's just, they're either not going to spawn, or they're going to spawn out of bounds, which they always spawn, I think. They just spawn out of bounds, like they are right fucking now. Or they might just be up here somewhere. But I don't think they would be. No, we're just stuck because some of these fuckers spawned out of bounds. Amazing. This might not be possible with a randomizer. I'm going to apply the next randomizer, see what that does. But it's unlikely that we'll be able to do this entire thing without anything being messed up. Here we go for the next attempt. Is this one gonna be it? Probably not. Am I going to keep trying? Definitely, yeah. More T-posing enemies would be nice, as long as they just spawn in bounds. That is the only thing that you need to do. You could spawn difficult, really difficult enemies as far as I'm concerned, as long as they're inside of the frickin' hack. Something you guys never see is that every time that I have to reload into a new and different randomized patch, it takes about a minute or so for me to load back up the emulator, then go into this menu, wait for all of the menu loading things to happen, especially this one. Apparently, for some reason, needs to take frickin' forever, even though It takes longer on the emulator than it actually does on the console, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And then I need to load the save, which also takes like a couple of seconds, a black screen, and you're never sure, is it actually going to load, is it going to crash? Because this game likes to crash a lot, and then I have to make my way back over to where I was. So yeah, that is not a very fun process. Now you know why I'm so annoyed every single time I have to switch into a different ISO. Oh, by the way, there's no way that the final Jafar fight is going to be randomized into something that's possible. It's just going to be something that spawns and then falls forever and is out of bounds within like a minute. Just warning you guys, that's probably just going to be the Jafar fight. I don't see that being anything else and also being possible to beat. There might be something. I don't know what it would be. I don't know if that arena has a floor necessarily. I think it does because otherwise it must have, right? Because Sora can probably reach that floor. So maybe there's a floor and we'll just be fighting a ground-based boss on that? Maybe? Would be fun if that was the Ground Shaker or something, because it's also a fairly big arena. I always say that the Ground Shaker arena is the biggest arena in Kingdom Hearts 2, and then the Lingering Will closely follows that. But that one might actually be larger. It's hard to tell. What's not hard to tell is that we're stuck here, so we're going to do this unrandomized. For what I think are fairly obvious reasons. Which means that I, yes, do have to load through that entire freaking thing again for an entire minute. I don't know if it's actually a minute, but it feels like an hour. I feel like Agrabah is just going to be everything we do in this episode, honestly, because we're half an hour in at this point, and we are still trying to fight water form Jafar. This is going to be a lot quicker now that we actually have normal enemies, but still, I feel like this might just be a Agrabah only episode. Downside is we won't get as much done on this episode. Plus side is we'll have one more episode in the entire series, because I was planning to do at least 2, potentially 3 worlds today, and it's going to go down to only 1 world. So, in a way, you could see that as being a good thing. In a really weird way, but you definitely could. Oh, we actually have an area with a new chest coming up. I didn't think about that, but yeah, there definitely will be a new chest around here. I think even more than one, potentially. Is it going to be anything useful? Again, it could be magic. Most likely, it will not be magic. So, no, it will not be anything useful. Just the same way that these... I don't even know what they're called. It's the Heartless that has a speed trap. I always call them speed trap Heartless because of their reaction command. I don't actually know their name. I don't know the name of a lot of these Heartless, to be honest. Oh yeah, before we actually get to doing the thing with chests in the thing, we actually need to do the 3 switches. Do we actually have all kinds of magic required to do that, though, is the real question, because I think we might not. Do we have thunder? We have thunder. Do we have blizzard? We have blizzard and we have fire. Somehow we managed to get all of the magic we need in order to do this switch minigame. That being said, I have no idea where the actual switches are because... Oh, there's one of them. There is one. I know one of them is back where we started. I kind of ignored that one because I'm an idiot. This is blizzard. Give me blizzard. Dude, just let me blizzard you up. Just let me blizzard it up. Okay, let me murder these enemies first. Never mind. I'm never going to hit this thing with blizzard if there's enemies around. Okay. I don't know why that didn't work before. It worked now. Okay, so... I think, yeah, the other one over here, which should be thunder, I think. But obviously we first need to murder these fools. Because if you are bothering me, you're just gonna die. That's kind of like the deal we have here. You're the enemies. Yeah, you're thunder. So, Thundara. And then we go back to where we came from, which is not a very efficient way of doing things, but... Look, I just forgot, okay? I'm just gonna be honest with you, I forgot. I remember this one is back here. It is, right? Don't make me seem like an idiot. I am 99% sure it's supposed to be... Oh, it's down there. Okay. almost right. I was almost right. Okay, so again, murder some fools because you people are really annoying me. Also, you give a surprising amount of experience. And then we use fire magic, and that is that. Don't forget to load in a randomized ISO, because we still are playing non-randomized now, before opening those chests. That is a fairly important step in that. This is really not as climactic if the last one you did was the fire one. And if you have to return anyway, it probably is a good idea to do the fire one as the last one. I don't know how speedrunners do it. Like, from a time management perspective, does it even matter? Probably not. But from just a, I might not make it somehow perspective, it's definitely the best to do the fire lock last. What are they called? Locks? Or switches? Switches, almost the same. Locks, switches, who cares? We are randomized. We are ready to get some items. A rabbit's house map. House being spelled H-O-W-S-E. Huh. Is it usually spelled like that? Is that a mistranslation in the English patch for the game? Or is that because, like, Winnie the Pooh isn't very intelligent and can't spell the word house right? Is that the entire thing? I don't know why it's spelled weirdly there. I'm okay with it. This might be an issue as well, because if these enemies get randomized into things that just... they don't seem to get randomized. They're still bats. So, yeah, these are special kinds of enemies. I have had these being randomized. Okay, definitely some of them do get randomized. So yeah, these are definitely special kinds of enemies which fly backwards after you hit them and then die. Because I have had these spawn in Twilight Town. I don't know if it was in this version of the randomizer or my first playthrough of the randomizer. I think it was my first playthrough. And it was the dudes on the crystal balls which spawned in there. But those were really annoying to deal with, because they would just like get stuck and then they're invulnerable and you can't kill them and they wouldn't give you experience. I don't know why they wouldn't die, because obviously they die over here when you mash them into the terrain. They might have to specifically be mashed into this terrain to die though, something like that. That's the only reasonable explanation I can come up with. It looks like something has changed in the randomizer since then, and maybe these just don't get randomized out of here, because that would be, well, it'd be impossible to kill most of the enemies, especially in this specific section of this. And there goes an enemy. Is it the terrain itself which is just like deadly here, or no? No, and one of the enemies is just chilling out. I'm so glad that I didn't actually need to kill that one, because that would have been bad, really, really bad for me. I think that's everything we needed to do here, right? So now we just make our way back to the palace and beat up Jafar. It's probably going to be too long for a second world in this episode, because we're 40 minutes in, we still do need to defeat the boss, and the boss is probably going to be at least a little annoying. Jafar turns into Ice Lord? Did I say that correctly? Is that Ice Lord? Because that is anticlimactic. So now we get an answer to the question, does this arena have a flaw? Yes it does. This is not a very satisfying fight. I can't use reaction commands though. Still, it's not going to be a very satisfying fight. We're going to do this again with a different randomized ISO, because even though this is going to be a very easy fight, obviously there's still not enough time for me to do an entire second world in this. So we'll just do this boss in a couple of different randomizations. And we crashed anyway, so we need to do that anyway. That is amazing. Are you kidding me? That's Fire Lord, right? Or Flame Lord, or whatever he's called. So one of the randomizations made this into the Ice Lord and the other one made it into its counterpart. What is this sorcery? I swear, I did not do that on purpose. This one's even easier to defeat. Holy. Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably going to crash again. Yeah, I did. I think those bosses are called Blizzard Gun or Fire Gun, actually, now I think about it. I always just call them Ice and Fire Lord. And now you turn into actually a still pushover boss, but a little bit more interesting. Because you're not in the arena you're supposed to be in. And you also spawned below the stage. Like, I can just thunder him to death? Is that true? I think I can just thunder him to death. I'm going to have to wait for my MP to recharge. Unless I want to use a Aether or an Elixir, but why would I? He's below the ground at this point, because obviously the ground down there doesn't have collision. But I can still probably just thunder him to death fairly easily, so that's what we're going to do, just because it's fun. Am I going to bother you with MP recharging every single time, fully? Definitely not. But, yeah, this is fun. That's, yeah, that's the thing. I guess having the ultimate weapon here does help because of MP haste again. And this might actually be enough to take him out. Probably just about... Not actually, yeah, no. We need one more full bar of MP. So, ultimate weapon, do your magic. Well, not literally. I've got Berserk Charge enabled, actually. I didn't even notice that because I never used my MP. And let's finish this fight. It is the weirdest way I've ever done a boss fight, I'll tell you that much. Obviously the game crashed because, of course it did. But so far, it's probably one of the most interesting fights we've had in this entire randomizer, in my opinion. It's Mr. Ice Lord again. We've already had you on here, so I guess we'll just move on to the actual Jafar fight now. That's more like it. This is gonna be quick. This is going to be real quick, because it's going to be mostly off-screen, for what I think are fairly obvious reasons. So, attack his belly button, go up, not too far, roll up, make him a dizzy boy, and just start absolutely annihilating him in the head. And with my damage output right now, it shouldn't be too difficult, which... No surprise, it's actually being ridiculously easy. He does do this, oh, I assumed he was gonna go into his DM thing, where he transports you into a different dimension, or whatever it is. He might not even get to do that. He might not even get to do that, which would be really sad. I think he has a certain HP trigger for it where he'll always do it. Most bosses do. But, oh, come on, so close, no! I almost managed to defeat this boss without this phase. I don't like this phase if it wasn't obvious. There's nothing you can do here other than just dodge, is the thing. I mean, you can technically, like, attack the flying debris, but I don't really think it does anything. I don't think you can reflect it back at him. Let's give it a try, let's just... Never mind, okay. And that is gonna be the end of the fight. Because you can spam all the magic you want. You don't have MP that'll run out, which is a little bit bullshit. But you also don't have a Keyblade to smack your opponent with in the head like that. And that upgrades my fire element, which actually I don't really give a shit about. Because why would I? It also gets you the Wishing Lamp, which could have been randomized, wasn't randomized, too bad. Yeah, that's about 52 minutes of recording. I feel like that'll be plenty for today's episode. Next week we'll be going into Halloween Town, which will be much, much, much shorter. And we'll also most likely do the Pride Lands in that same episode. We might even visit Hollow Bastion, depending on how quickly those two will go. I doubt it though. We'll probably only do these 2 worlds, and then the world after that or the episode after that, we'll probably do Hollow Bastion and Twilight Town, and then we'll do an entire episode for the world that never was, and then we'll do 1 more episode for all the secret bosses, which is Lingering Will, Sephiroth, and the Data Fight, whatever they turn into, that is. It's gonna be a little less interesting than it usually would be as a final episode. And we might just do that Lingering Will thing in Agrabah, because that's still there. Until then, you've been awesome. As always, bye.